you find your way into this industry?
Well, my father was involved. He introduced me to the business. I was with WFG at the time. He had gotten, he met Andrea and Rory through, they were doing presentations at the VA. My father is a veteran, and he was also working at the VA hospital at the time. And so he got introduced to the business, and he came to me with it. And at the time I was kind of like, no, I want to, I want to be, this corporate person, and I just want to keep my head on straight and just, do this whole 9 to 5 thing, right? But he kept on, okay, come to this, go, talk to this person, and he just kept at it, just kept coming at me. And then finally I sat down and in front of my mentor now, and I just, after hearing about it, I realized that I can incorporate insurance with my tax business, because initially when I was doing taxes, I was working for Liberty Tax. I wanted like a storefront where I'm doing taxes, I'm doing document preparation, and also I incorporated an insurance component. And I was just I wasn't really like thinking about like life insurance per se. I was kind of like, okay, insurance, wherever that may look like, I just wanted that. I wanted this storefront where I'm offering that kind of stuff, because I was seeing these storefronts all over the city. They have, taxes. I would see taxes and insurance. And I'm like, man, that could be something that I can do, because taxes is only a season, for say 4 months. And then after that, what else are you doing, to keep the doors open? So insurance and document preparation, it all kind of made sense to me. And so I got into this. I got licensed in 2018. And as I was learning about it and doing the continuing ed classes, and it just got me really to where, I really, like this industry. It's a very lucrative industry. It's very interesting. You meet all kinds of interesting people. And I've always wanted to be in a position where I can help people and, and educate people. Because when I'm doing taxes, I'm educating you on your taxes, and, letting you know, how much tax liability you have, and what you can do to lower that tax liability. And so I was always doing that, helping people. And there are people who were receptive to my education, and they were, oh yeah, this is, good information. And then there were those who would be blank until I got down to how much their refund was. Then they would light up. But that's all they wanted to hear.
Kind of held in suspense while they're waiting to see, do I owe or am I getting something back? Right?
Yeah. So when they saw their refund, then they would just, they would come alive at that point. But I just, I like educating people, and I like this format, and then when I, realized, I feel like with insurance, it's so underserved, and it's sometimes it has a negative connotation to it, when, like I was in the auto insurance industry, and, people would call, they were upset because they were in a car accident, and so, and maybe the insurance company would pay the whole thing, maybe not, or maybe they got into a car accident and they realized that the day of the accident, their policy had lapsed, they weren't paying on it or whatever happened, and then they got into this car accident, and now it's, we can't cover it, you know what I'm saying? So it was always that, the people were upset for some reason or another, and so, but I still see this as a viable industry, and a place where you can, you can learn, you can, because I tell you, when I take those money laundering courses, I learn a whole lot, because money laundering is, it's very, it's
Okay.
it's a very, the insurance industry is really vulnerable to money laundering, and it's really interesting learning about it, how it works, the ins and outs, what to look for, and things like that. So I like that kind of stuff, and I like doing paperwork, calling the carriers and getting to know them and getting the ins and out, doing those webinars. I like all that kind of stuff. It may seem boring to other people, but I like learning, I like
this is all the stuff that tax professionals find fun. This is
right. Doing that research and stuff. I have a bunch of tax books and everything. So I like doing that kind of stuff.
Awesome. It's awesome. Hey, look, I want to go back. So just to go back, when you mentioned Rory and Andrea, for those who don't know who she's referring to to Rory K. Douglas. If you're on TikTok and Instagram, you had to have seen him talking about financial literacy or financial education. I mean, he's one of the top and most respected sources for that information on the internet. And then Andrea is his wife and business partner as well. So no, incredible people, and incredible to have them as close mentors as well.
Yeah.
What is that? I mean, what is that? What does that mean? That takes me in a different direction, because there's other things you said I want to touch on, i.e. even being a tax professional in this space, and the processes that come after that. But what does it mean to have strong mentorship in the organization, and coming from a corporate background where you worked for an insurance company, or you worked for a healthcare company,
right?
And then going over to say, okay, I'm going to become an agent, from a licensing standpoint. How important was the mentorship in that? And before you even go to that, tell me, what was the thing that, I guess, flipped the switch for you to say, hey, I'd rather do this on this side versus on this side? And
well, I was kind of at this crossroads in my life where I either was going to jump in and be an entrepreneur full time, or I was just going to stay in corporate America. And I knew that if I stayed in corporate America, I wasn't going to be happy. And I'm at an age where I have more days behind me than in front of me. And I've always been in this start and stop mentality. I would start something and everything's cool, going great, and then I'll hit a wall, and then I just go retreat back to what's comfortable, which is finding a job, corporate America. And so at the time I was working like 10 hours a day, and I was really just exhausted. And I just thought to myself, am I going to do this forever, or am I going to, just jump into this industry and work it full time, because I'm giving corporate America 10 hours a day of my time. And so should I give them 10 hours or give myself the 10 hours? So I decided to just bet on myself. And I planned it really kind of strategically. And I had a conversation with my husband, of course, and I set some things in place, for the leave. And so, I just, I did it. I burned the boat, and now I'm in it. I don't have a plan B. I'm just working my plan A, and I'm
financial B.
Right. Right, you're right. The B, but yeah, and I don't regret my decision at all. I really don't. Now, I will be honest. There are some times where I'm kind of like, ooh, but that, I just kind of do my self-care work, and I push forward.
Absolutely. I love the vulnerability, with that too, because, a lot of times when people see others who are in this business, right? And a lot of times when people are talking about the business, they speak about it from a standpoint of all the successes and all the great things that can happen, but not necessarily about, some of the hardships. And look, you really got to have your mindset right, because there's a lot of ebbs and flows, well, and just like it's easy to get started, it's easy to quit too, So,
right.